Hey everyone, welcome to Reading the Green and our Golf DFS podcast. My name is Mike. I am joined with Kyle and Jordan on Tuesday, April 19th. We have our RBC Heritage Classic recap and the Zurich Classic preview. Lots of other good stuff. Jump right into it, guys. I hope I'm saying this like we're going to be on video. We're trying it. It's going to be a bit of a learning process, but you guys look great. It's great to see your faces.
Thank you. I'm playing a lovely round of golf at 9 p.m. on this beautiful golf course.
Yeah, what course is that?
TPC Las Vegas.
All right.
It looks
all right.
It looks a little deserty, maybe like Napa area.
What about TPC Reno?
TPC Reno. Good.
I was thinking maybe Palm Springs. Maybe not. Maybe the mountains are too green for Palm Springs. Maybe
not tall enough. Maybe it could be a Mexican course. We'll call it the Monterey Club.
All right. Well, perfect for our podcast listeners. They're going to have to come out to YouTube and check out what we're talking about. But all right. So it's April 19th. It means it's almost April 20th. And so I feel like it's appropriate that the PGA Tour's pot smoking degenerate, although rehab recovering addict Robert Garrigus is the first to sign on with the Scottie Tour. Are you guys pumped to watch Robert Garrigus take down huge purses every week?
I might be pulling a Jordan here, but I thought Robert Garrigus was a skateboarder.
Kyle, you can't pull off the stupidity like I can.
Yeah, you know who he is. No, he I don't know. He hasn't really had much of a presence lately, but he is sort of famous for admitting that himself and a number of players would repeatedly smoke pot in the porta potties between holes during events kind of 10, 15 years ago. So,
I mean, you think he stopped? Like
he did? It sounds like he did.
Well, he stopped smoking in the porta potty. Now he just pops an edible every 5 holes.
Well,
like it's much easier to do the pot now than it used to be.
Do we know the Live Tour's stance on marijuana?
I'm pretty sure Garrigus is actually going to lose a hand.
I don't think there's any rules on this tour. I guess I'll believe it when I see it. But anyways, so it's a fun week on the PGA Tour, right? So we're gonna have it's team week, pick a partner, different format. Of course, we'll get into that in the second half here. But Jordan, we participated in a team event one time. I mean, lots of times, but one time at a little course over here in the Twin Cities called Stonebrook, we teamed up for a 2-man scramble. That was a good week.
Yeah, we destroyed them. I felt a little bad. We were sitting there after the tournament and seeing people come up and look at the scoreboard thinking they did well and just like, what? Who are those guys? How? No way. What did we shoot? It was something absurd.
It wasn't that crazy. I think it was like maybe 10 under for a 2-man scramble, but I remember you and I debating on if we join the open flight or like the handicap flight. And I was like, oh, Jordan, like if we join the open one, are we just going to get run out by a bunch of like ex-pros that are there to clean up? And people were asking us if we were professionals. I was like, this wasn't that good of a round. I guess there weren't that good of players there.
Yeah. Well, are
you sure it wasn't a 3-man and I wasn't involved?
No, because we did well.
Hey, we got 7th at the Greenskeepers Revenge last year.
Yeah. No, it was a weekday, right? Didn't we take off work? So it was
so.
It was not your typical competition.
Hey, so you guys beat a bunch of 70-year-olds. Good job.
Yeah, we did. We walked out with some money. I think people thought we were brothers. It was really a weird thing.
Yeah,
but
we had really boring head covers at the time, like whatever.
But I do love a good team event, and that's why this week should be super fun. It's just like we get so much of that people clamor on the PGA Tour for sort of a different format, and we talk about that around the match play. So this is really the only other one that we get all year. But we'll talk about that in the second half. Jordan, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some Bearded Iris, Ever Clever. It's a pretty sweet can. It took me a while to figure out what it actually was called because it just repeats itself all around the can. It is a double IPA. I'm like a little 8.5% to start off
Nice.
Tuesday night, but it's delicious. Second Bearded Iris. Both of them have been fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good spot, Nashville. Yep. Kyle, it sounds like you're fresh out.
I'm in a hotel and I'm waiting for the restaurant across the parking lot to deliver me a beer. We'll see.
What restaurant was that, Kyle?
IHOP.
I think it's the same restaurant that just struck a massive NIL deal with Big and Little John Daly.
They're both in the parking lot, funny enough, but yes. Yeah. Welcome to Texas.
I actually,
right?
I find that story fascinating. Like, Little John Daly is 15 years old or 16 years old. No, maybe he's a little older. He might be a senior in high school.
Well, he's got to be going to college, right? If he gets an NIL.
I thought he played at Arkansas or something. Yeah, he played golf for Arkansas.
Okay, so he's a freshman. Yeah, that's huge.
You got to be actually college. That's why I like that football recruit from Texas last year went to Ohio State early. Yeah,
but you only have to be in college in certain states. Like Texas, they banned high school kids from doing it, which is why he went to Ohio State for 6 months.
Yeah, Quinn Evers was it?
Yeah, Quinny.
Yeah. Well, good for Little John Daly. Seems like he's finding his stride. I got a Kyle. I wanted to share this with you, but I'll save it for myself because it's a milkshake double IPA, the Pogo Stick Whip. This is another one that's left over from the beer box that I never quite got to. So I don't know. I got weird beers left.
If any of our listeners ever want to get Mike a gift, get him one of those beer boxes. Make him drink. What was it? Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles?
The Nerd Sour.
Nerd
the weird
Sour.
Beer night, Nerd Sour.
Yeah, he'll galaxy brain it and not pick IPAs and pick everything. And of course, then you get not IPAs.
This is good. You guys are missing out. It tastes a little bit like cough syrup and a little bit like a dreamsicle. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's quite the combo.
All right, well, let's talk about Harbortown, because I think this tournament ended up actually being pretty exciting, and I think, Kyle, you teased it out last time about the players actually really liking this event, and it paid off. And then I heard in a little bit of some of the podcasts earlier this week that it really just is a really well-run tournament, and players like to be there, and frankly, the course is really tough. I can't believe, like, the shots that you have to hit off the tee, and even if you hit a good tee shot, you still feel like you're blocked out by trees. I played this on the simulator over the weekend, just, because that's about as close as I could get. And it's still hard. Like, even on simulator golf, it's hard to have a clear shot. So
yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
It draws such a strong field right after the Masters, right? It's got to be doing something right.
Yeah.
You know what it's doing right? It's in New Orleans. These guys are going out on
the tournament this week.
Bourbon Street on Tuesday night, maybe not Wednesday night. If they play bad on Thursday, they're out there Thursday night.
You got your weekends mixed up. They were in Hilton Head. They're in New Orleans this weekend.
Yeah, as I'm saying, this weekend. Like, that's why they like this so much. Sorry, I thought we were talking about. Yeah, I'm thinking about New Orleans and how much fun I had there, and I just don't even care about the Heritage Classic.
Well, Jordan, your guy, Jordan Spieth, gets the W, your namesake. And we had no experts that were on him. And I heard a couple of people earlier this week talk about how they admittedly faded him last week. And I think I realized that, I used to kind of hate on Jordan Spieth early on when he was popping up, because I felt like he was just like the privileged kid golf machine that was just like bred to be a professional golfer. But now I realize that he just plays golf like us. Struggles with his golf swing in perpetuity, hits ridiculous rescue shots when he needs to, and makes a couple of putts, and he has a decent round. So I enjoy watching him do his thing, which he certainly did this weekend.
I wish I got to see more of Sunday. Unfortunately, it was on the road, so I didn't see much of it, but it looked and sounded like a great finish.
Yeah. Yeah, they both Cantlay and Spieth kind of hit weird shots that I think eventually were blamed on the weather, but kind of hit weird shots on that on the playoff hole. They both ended up 5-10 yards short in the bunker, so that was a bit out of character. Cantlay obviously got a plugged lie and was toast getting up and down. But anyways.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it. I did really appreciate Dylan Fratelli's shot out of the tree, though.
Yeah.
That he got penalized for?
Yeah, and like, I wonder, the PGA Tour rule feels like it's written so if it's between your legs, right?
It's really so that you can't croquet style putt.
Exactly.
Right? That's why the rule is written that way.
So like, maybe they need to update the rules to say only if it's below your waist can you not swing like that. Because like he got that out of the tree, and technically the ball was moving. Isn't that illegal also?
They said he asked that to the rules official while he was doing it, and the person said because it was like anchored to the moss, it technically was. I don't know.
That was a good shot. If you haven't seen that video, go find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dylan Fratelli might be the next member of the Saudi tour.
Yeah, he might. Oh my God, he would if he just takes such a beating on social media, but probably still would if he was on the Saudi tour. Might be worse. Anyways, listener league, JY Sodi. I feel like we're calling his name a lot. Finishes in first place. It was pretty tight. Jordan, you were running away with it early on, and you slipped to second at some point, huh?
I thought I might catch him. I don't remember. I need to look up who I had. I had someone that Sunday shot like 6 over, and if he would have just played under one stroke under par, I probably would have had it. But I gave it my all, guys.
Just missed it by 7 strokes.
Yep. But like the guy played well all week, and then Sunday, I'm gonna look it up. You guys keep talking, and I'm gonna find my recent. It upset me.
I know it means a lot to Pete Koziak 3 for getting another third place. These are really keeping him going. And if you scroll down to the bottom, you'd find 2 people that were comically in last place, and that was Kyle and myself. And I was well behind Kyle.
Yeah, you're not even close. You're in a different stratosphere. Yeah, but
well,
our pivot lineup.
The joke was. My brother was teasing me a little bit, saying, "Well, aren't you just going to draft just North Carolina and South Carolina guys?" And so I sent him a lineup of what I could dig up as those guys, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll just use this," and just to kind of like say, "Hey, I'll win with the lineup I sent you," but I swapped out Varner and JT Poston for Hoagie and Lucas Glover, and then I realized I was like kind of pissed. But then that turns out that would have got me from about last place to third to last place. So it was a bad week. We'll just leave it.
Yeah, our boy Tommy Tables had a rough week overall.
No, he might be a little bit.
Yeah. Tommy Tabled is tabled for the time being.
Yeah, but you know what? He's playing New Orleans now, and he's got some of those riverboat casinos. That might just be his thing.
He's distracted.
Who's his partner?
He is playing with let me double check because I know I was a little.
Let's be real.
He's playing with Paul Barjan, and he's one of those guys. I know, second half of the show, but I'm like, how is Tom Hoagie friends with Paul Barjan, the Frenchman? I don't understand the connection.
Paul Barjan.
We'll play a fun little how are these guys playing together in the second half of the show here.
Okay, all right, we'll save that. A couple of other comments.
Mike, it was Billy Haas that screwed me on Sunday.
I was gonna ask if it was Mr. Billy.
But I will say JY Sodi had 6 guys. I only had 5, and I only lost by 8 points.
Wow. Bill Haas played like Bill Haas, I guess.
Yeah. Why I picked him, I don't know. He wasn't on the sheet. There was nothing. I thought I was going for someone that looked like their golf ball.
We actually, our conclusion was Jordan clicked the wrong guy.
No, I intentionally picked him, but I don't remember why.
All right. Well,
the Jordan lineup selection process, everyone.
Yeah. I think we're all familiar with that now.
Yep.
Pretty good week for the model. We had 80%. One of the metrics that we like to follow is how many of our players with 25% mention, share, or more make the cut. So we were at 80% this week. I think we were 84% last week. So obviously the Masters a little higher, but 80% very good. That means we had a lot of made cuts. I think certainly my cash lineups were good. GPP was actually pretty solid. Got crushed in RTG as I discussed, but overall, I think again we're seeing some really good results, and we also had our April expert rankings go out, so you can see on our Twitter some of the experts that have certainly been propelling us to having these good metrics so far this year.
Cash was up and down for me. I had as we talked about Tommy Tables, a little too much of him hurt, and then my boy Matt Fitzpatrick, he finally failed in an event that didn't have asinine weather, so maybe need to cool it on Matt Fitzpatrick a little bit. The GPP lineups were solid, but something we noticed, we texted a little bit about, is performance across the board seemed to be pretty high this week. I think in our 20 max, Mike, I like the 6 made cut percentage was like 12%, which is the highest
really?
I've seen this. Yeah, it's the highest I've seen this year. So even if you had a lineup get through 6 for 6 with not crazy ownership, it wasn't a guaranteed slam dunk.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that as I had quite a few 6 for 6 lineups that were very mediocre. On Matt Fitzpatrick, he was our biggest landmine this week. He had a ton of love from the experts. He cruises along all year, top 20 after top 20, all in the 7K range. Suddenly his price bumps up to over 9K and he totally blows it. Feels like a trap play. Are we calling him overrated, or was this just a tough week for him?
A little bit of a heat check is what I'll say. Am I going to hesitate to click over 8,500 from here on out? Probably, unless he strings together some top 15s again. But I'm not saying he's my. We're not breaking up yet.
Okay, all right, that's right. That's what term we're using. I agree. I don't think you break up with them yet, but man, if he dogs you one more time, Kyle, I think you might need to have a conversation.
Yeah, he's. We might be on a break.
Our best contributor this week, our best expert, we tweeted this out. Reed Fowler has been very good in our model the last several weeks. 3 of the last 6 actually finishing as our top expert. So he had 4 of 4 made cuts. No one that was top 5, but when you get 4 top 30 plays, that's a good place to start your lineup. So yeah, good tournament. Was fun to see a lot of good names there on a pretty tough course, and I think the payoff certainly delivered. Anything else for you guys on the Heritage?
I already forgot about it and was thinking about Bourbon Street, so no.
Okay, let's do that. Let's take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll get Jordan down to New Orleans and talk about the Zurich Classic. Hey everyone, welcome back. We have the second half of our show, of course, the Zurich Classic preview. First, we do have our listener league. That is still in effect. Please come play DraftKings Golf DFS with us. You can join for low stakes, have a lot of fun, get to know some of our listeners, and take real money out of our pockets. We will tweet out the link to join that. And of course, shout out the players that play well each week. That's our listener league. All right, this week is the Zurich Classic. It is a 2-man team event. Guys, choose their own partners. There are no rules, no limitations. Pick whoever you want. So if you're Ryan Palmer, you just pick whoever is ranked number 1, assuming they'll say yes. But this takes place at TPC Louisiana. It's a Pete Dye course. I feel like we've got a lot of Pete Dye courses on the tour so far this spring. Last year, Cam Smith and Mark Leishman won in a playoff. So you know that this is going to be an interesting event. It's a mix of best ball. It's a mix of alternate shot. So they will play 2 rounds of each. 80 teams total, top 33 in ties getting to the weekend. And we just came off the Masters where we had about 55% of the field that makes the cut. So 50-some players out of 90. This is the opposite this week. This is one of the hardest cuts to make. We'll have 33 of the teams out of the 80 teams total. So getting 6 of 6 through is going to be really tough. Getting 5 of 6 through is going to put you in a pretty good spot. So I guess my point is it's kind of like the match play. It's a little bit of a crapshoot. It's a weird format. It probably keeps, like Kyle, you were saying, it keeps a lot of the casual players away from DFS this week. So maybe limit your exposure a little bit. Maybe be selective with the type of contest that you're entering, because it's just going to be, who knows? Who knows? It's super fun to watch, but to bet on, tough.
Yeah, looking forward to watching, but we'll be on the lighter side for my DK endeavors.
All right, so we tweeted it out. Got a couple of responses. What goes into picking a good partner for this type of event? We play handicapped events at our clubs, so take that into consideration. But what goes into finding a good partner?
You gotta, the big key is finding that sandbagger, right? Or like the guy, I've got someone in my men's league this year that last year was the first year he played more than 5 rounds of golf his whole career. And then he got a new driver, a full new iron set, took some lessons over the winter. Probably going to be a real big sandbagger this year and carry us, right?
To go out for his handicap to catch up?
Yeah, his handicap's at 24 right now, right? Like, it doesn't take much to improve that to a 18, and then he gets 6 strokes on everyone else.
I disagree.
So Jordan, so what about somebody that maybe played pretty good in August, then kind of, July, August, played pretty good, shot some low rounds, then hung it up for 6 months, then is going to have another kid and then not play that much? Is that somebody that you want on that team that's going to have a super low handicap and then never play any golf?
Yeah, this is like our tweets today. You're plus 1.5, +2 handicap, Mike.
No.
That's a tough one to be a partner with, because you got.
It's not that low, and I am a
now
terrible
I'm gonna go
partner.
look it up while we're talking here.
I am the guy that is begging somebody with strokes to come play with me, because I know that no one would ever seriously invite me to a handicapped event.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's tough if you're that low. You have to play out of your mind to be of any value.
You do. And like for me to get my handicap up, it requires me to play so many rounds, which I can't play. And so by the time I do, I usually just get it on track. So anyways.
Just keep working on your swing. Your handicap will get higher. We saw you play most of last year.
Anyways, I don't know. I think it's fun. I think a lot will be made this week of finding guys whose games mesh. I mean, for me, it's someone that I just want to like spend the time playing golf with. And I see this all the time in the club events. You can overthink your partner strategy, and those guys never look like they have any fun together. Yeah. So at the end of the day,
you want to have fun. And if you end up playing well, it's a bonus, right? Like, that's member guests, right? I never plan on winning. Like, I play with my brother, who may listen to this, and like, right, we're a little more serious, but like the one that I put at my club, I bring, last year was my cousin, and we drank the whole time and had a great time. Like 3 days of just a blast. That's what team golf is about, unless you're competitive, which I'm not.
So these guys this weekend, whose livelihood is on the line, maybe they think about it a little differently. Maybe. All right. Well,
sorry, I was cracking my next beer and I muted so that it wasn't on the pod. But so they do take it seriously, because I'm looking at there's only been 4 years of this tournament where they've had partners, and there are big names at the top all 4 years. Second place are all recognizable. The worst one is 2018 with Jason Duffner getting second place, right, with Pat Perez. But like, otherwise it's winners: Cameron Smith, John Rahm, Ryan Palmer, Leishman, Oosthuizen, Schwarzel, Kisner. Like,
yeah, no, it's a fair point. You
let more going to surprise you here over 4 days.
Yeah, you let Morikawa and Hovland team up. Like, how are you supposed to, compete with that? If you're, I can pull up the lower, the guys further down the board. But, if you're Nick Hardy and Curtis Thompson, like, that just isn't, it's not apples to apples. But anyway, so how about we do this? I'll throw out a couple of teams that are out there. You guys tell me how they got hooked up. Wrong answers only. All right, let's start with let's start with Scottie Scheffler and Ryan Palmer. How did that matchup happen? Because Ryan Palmer's played the last 2 years with Jon Rahm.
I got this one, Kyle. I got this one. Scottie thought he was signing up with Arnold Palmer and didn't read the first initial. So he just wanted to have 2 fun days with Arnie.
See, I heard Ryan Palmer somehow signed a contract in perpetuity to always play with the number 1 player in the world.
It kind of seems like that.
I do kind of seems like answer.
His whole year is this one tournament. So who he has dinner with, who he plans nights out, who he golfs practice rounds with, is all prepping to be picked as the number 1 Zurich partner.
360 days of grooming to be the partner at the Zurich Open.
All right. How about I don't get this one. Camilo Villegas and Kyle Stanley.
Alphabetical.
Yeah.
First names.
Well,
a C to a
starts
K.
with a C.
Somebody got it wrong.
I think Kyle Stanley's wife is big on yoga.
Mm-hmm. So,
the pose that Camilo does as he reads his putts, I think that's the connection. I think his wife's like, ooh, is that a downward facing doggy putt view? Yeah.
That's likely. Likely. I really don't. I can't come up with something. I default to most of these guys saying, they're sponsored. They have the same sponsor and they got hooked up. Like they needed a partner. They wanted to play. How about Bill Haas, your guy Jordan, Bill Haas and Jay Haas? How did they get hooked up in this tournament?
When Jay marries your mom and adopts you as his kid, and so you play with your stepdad, right? That's Bill and Jay, right? Isn't Jay Bill's stepdad, or is it Bill Jay's stepdad? I don't know which one, but
Jay is a former PGA Tour star whose son is Bill Haas. That is actually the correct answer. But your answer was wrong, which I asked. We just did some research on this. Our guy Tom Hoagie, playing with Frenchman Paul Barjan. Paul is not from Fargo, so I'm not quite sure how these two got hooked up.
Jordan, did you say Paul Barjan was born on an island off of Australia?
Yes, New Caledonia, which isn't Caledonia a town in Minnesota?
Yeah, that's Old Caledonia.
Well, so maybe Tom thought Paul was from Minnesota. He saw Caledonia and goes, "Oh, another Minnesotan. I'm gonna have to play with him."
He thought his name was Swedish.
All right. I think that's run its course. Good job, guys. I think the short answer is I have no idea how some of these guys get hooked up. It seems like unless they were college teammates, I have no clue.
So I have a real one, though, that I found interesting during a little bit of the pod prep. Maverick McNealy and Jason Bramlett. Do you know that story?
Aren't they Stanford college teammates?
Well, their girlfriends are also close. And they
wait, no. I think that's Bryce Garnett. Anyways, go ahead. Girlfriends are close.
Yeah, and they spent COVID living together and ate a lot of ice cream. Per them.
Yeah. Oh. Wow.
That's the story they gave at the presser, apparently.
They ate a lot of ice cream together.
Well, we'll get into the picks. I kind of like that team. McNealy has been really good. If you kind of go back to what makes up a good team, I think there are some complementary plays you could have here. So especially when you get the alternate shot, if you have a really good iron player with a really good putter, or in this case, someone that's been all around pretty good, and then Bramlett that hits it like 8 miles, could make for a good pairing. So Kyle, why don't we just jump into the model and talk about some of the plays this week? I know we don't have all of our experts in. I think content and schedules are going to be a little bit off just because of the weird format, but what do things look like at the moment?
Yeah, we'll give you the three at the top of our board, all north of 30% mention share, which when you have 80 teams, that is still pretty healthy. You have Billy Horschel playing with Sam Burns leading the way at 43%. Tommy Fleetwood and Sergio Garcia at 31, and Davis Riley and Will Zalatoris also at 31. And to your last point there about complementary styles, I think a good example of that would be Will Zalatoris and Davis Riley. Riley could knock down some putts, really help out Will's iron play, and that kind of two styles coming together can look pretty good this event.
I think Zalatoris could probably pick any partner that would be a better putter than him.
Hey, he's picked it up recently.
Yeah, he finally putts better than I do, which is not saying much. But your number two team there, Fleetwood and Garcia, have been playing together for a while. I saw them on my second place a couple of years ago. So they, there has to be something about, playing together multiple years, right? Not changing your team every year. There's benefit to that.
Yeah, I agree. And they're definitely a team I'll look at this week. Might come with a little bit of ownership, but they're definitely one of the plays I'll be looking at, Sergio and Fleetwood. I also like the Chilean connection this week, Mito Pereira and Neiman. So that's someone I'm going to be looking at, along with, I think, we talked about them, but I think they might be a little overlooked, is Ryan Palmer and Scottie Scheffler.
Oof. I thought you were going to say the Haas's.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get Scottie again this year at 9,700 unless he falls off a cliff. And I get we're getting a little Ryan Palmer there too, but the way I'm not fading him. I learned at the Masters, I'm not fading him until he comes down.
I will back you on that, Kyle. I think for taking the hottest player in like a decade at 9,700, like, it doesn't really matter who he plays with. Scottie might be able to win this tournament on his own. And you're right, you don't fade him until he shows us that he's going to cool off. So I like that as well. I think we talked a little bit in the prep. I think the top of our model is going to be pretty chalky, and I think that's just the nature of this event, that a lot of the play is going to concentrate on a handful of teams that have been good in this tournament. Same goes for Chris Kirk and Brendan Todd. College teammates have played pretty well here. Seems like a good spot at 8,200 and get a little bit of price relief, but I think that's going to come with a little bit of chalk. So trying to figure out where we could go down the board a little bit, and I think that's going to take a little work and a little more information from our experts. I mean, there are a whole bunch of guys in the 6K and 7K range that are getting some love, but I don't know that I see an obvious way to go yet. I just might need to put all my money on Hoagie and Barjan. I'm not sure.
There is some of the expert community that is totally avoiding the whole below 7K range.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of volatility there. So, and if you don't go below that, it might be tough to reach up to some of the teams above 10,000. Xander Schauffele, Patrick Cantlay on the surface looks really intriguing. And, we talked about some of the other ones up there, but it's going to get tough to do a build when you get north of 10.
The surprising one that I see out there is Morikawa and Hovland. They're not getting much love. 19% mention share. Like they're the highest cost. Yep, confirming highest cost, number one. But like no one's picking them. Is that just because of cost? Because like they've both been playing pretty well.
I think a lot of the talk, a lot of the conversation this week seems to be going on guys with form in this tournament. You got to remember that if it was a 4-day best ball, then you would just go off guys who can make the most birdies, who can feed off each other. But you got to remember that 36 holes are going to be played with alternate shot. And so you really have to do something to isolate. I mean, I think Morikawa would be a great alternate shot player, just given the strength of his iron play. He's going to keep you in play. But it totally throws you off your rhythm, and I want some of those gamers. And so I'm not surprised that Fleetwood and Garcia, guys that have that sort of gamer mentality, have played well in match play, played well in Ryder Cups, do well in this event. because it's just, you got to figure out how to grind out a score in a totally different format.
Do you think it helps if the two people don't speak the same language? Like, how
Oh my God, it totally
how are
could.
Morikawa and Hovland gonna golf? They're just gonna grunt at each other and point over there.
What are you talking about, Victor?
Because Norwegian?
Victor Hovland
who went to Oklahoma State and speaks great English. Yes, I know.
But yeah, I don't know. I do think we got a little bit of work to do in the next 24 hours to find some of those sub 8K plays. But Kyle, I like your point. It might make sense this week just to kind of lean into maybe some more cash contests, take a balanced lineup, take the guys you know are gonna play well and make the cut, and just try to win a few bucks. Taking a big swing for the in the GVP contest. Obviously, somebody has to win, but you're gonna have to take a flyer on some of these guys that just aren't talked about, because you got to find an ownership angle. So,
I'm really standing by for Jordan's picks.
Yeah, Jordan.
I prepped them that they were going to be good. I'll give you my two actual picks to begin with, which is going to be tough because they're both in the 9,000s. But Gooch and Homa, from what I've read, and just they're up there in mention share, not at the top of the list, but they're also not, $10,000. The other one that's going to be tough for me to pass up is Lowry and Poulter. Right, like Poulter loves Ryder Cup. Poulter loves this format, and Lowry's just been playing really well. So there's a chance. I do think they should be priced way lower than 9,500 because it's Ian frickin' Poulter. But I think it's a place that people probably won't go because of the price.
It's actually kind of shocking that you get them at 9,500. Like you said, should probably be a little bit lower. But you get Scottie Scheffler at 9,700. And I know Shane Lowry's been having a great spring. He was unbelievable around the greens at Harbor Town until he chipped a ball in the water. But I agree that's probably he did. It cost him the tournament. But you're right. They are probably priced up a little bit at 9,500. But I think you're right. I think you might find a little bit of an angle there.
Yeah, and if you can fit all those two groups and Scheffler, right, that's three in the $9,000 range, and then go for low sevens, you might be able to squeeze those three in and still have three other good lineups. That'd be killer. But some people not mentioned on our list, and I was surprised that I didn't see them. I'm going to be big on David Skins this week. I like those journeyman Brits. Who was the one I picked a couple weeks ago that ended up making the cut and playing really well? Shaft, or what was Richard Dick Bland, right? This guy David Skins feels a little like Dick Bland.
What are you gonna do, Jordan, when you can get a foursome, well, a threesome, I guess, with Dick Bland, David Skins, and Brendan Steele?
It's gonna be great. I will invite them to my club. It'll be perfect.
Out of work adult movie actors.
Yes. The other one, this one's not an inappropriate name. I just really liked it. Was Dowie Vanderwaalt. Never heard of him. Another, he's almost 40, South African. This tournament really digs deep for people that want to play in it. There's a lot of names down at the bottom. Michael Glikic.
You have 160 players.
Yeah,
it's a big field. I'm surprised that Dowie isn't playing with your fellow golfer Van Rooyen.
He must not like mustaches.
No one could stand up to the stash. They didn't want to appear next to that and be
at least Leishman goes with the mullet wig to support Cam.
But to your question for you guys, where is Dowie Vanderwaalt's partner from this week? It's not South Africa. And Mike, don't Google it. I can see you trying to.
I'm looking at our model. He's not in our model, so I don't even know who he's playing with.
Brett Drewitt. Does that help?
Ooh. I've heard the name. I know Mr. Drewitt.
Where is he from, Jordan?
He's Australian.
He doesn't slice it.
How does that? And Kyle and Robert Garrett, I guess, have been hanging out together lately.
All right. Well, actually, I do had one more for you. We talked a little bit about Jason Day. We talked a little bit about Jason Day last week, and so he's playing this week, and he's playing with someone I've never heard of, named Jason Scrivener. And I don't like. Is he doing? I mean, we're going back to wrong answers only. Is he like doing a favor for a family member and just like, hey, sure, I'll have your cousin out to this tournament.
Wait, they're both first name Jason?
Yeah, but like
it was just a match
first
Jason contest. He put out a thing on Instagram. It said, "Hey, if your name is Jason, apply, and I'll pick someone to play with me."
Honestly, that could be right. I don't know why he wouldn't.
Oh, he's Australian. He's Australian.
Well, you had to be named Jason from Australia.
Actually, I think that he was born in South Africa, but it says he's Australian. So.
All right. Well, clearly we don't have a lot on picks this week because we spend most of the time making fun of the teams.
One real one that doesn't have a lot of love in the model, but as scrolling through the lineups, I am intrigued by is Charles Schwarzel and Bezuidenhout. 7,900. Feel like the kind of team that can do well here. Just
Schwarzel's been playing well. He took second here last year. He kicked Louis off the team, and he finds another South African to play with.
Yeah, I just scrolling through and found that team interesting at 7,900 when I was trying Jordan's strategy of 3 9K guys. You can get it done if you 3 9Ks and 3 7s. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, you know which lineup I'm not intrigued by? Mike and Kyle do most of our data entry for all of the experts. I did one this week. I think they picked Thigala, or I did two. One of them picked Thigala and Hostler. And I just looked up last week. They were plus 18 on 2 days of golf. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to pick those two this week. They're down there in the, if you shot 12 over at the RBC Heritage in 2 days, I'm not going to pick you. Bo Hostler and Sahith didn't do much better at plus 6.
Well, I think those guys are both SoCal guys. So I think, again, trying to figure out the mystery of how people get hooked up. But yeah, I know we made a lot of jokes. That's why it makes it so much fun. We're not going to be able to handicap it. We're not going to be able to kind of figure this thing out. So we might as well have some fun and just enjoy some of the partnerships out there. Yeah. Anything else, guys, before we wrap up for the night?
I gotta get back to putting here. I'm holding up the group behind me.
No, but Mike, you didn't ask me about my second. You didn't ask me about my second beer, Mike. It's the finest.
I think I saw Coors Latte.
It's the finest craft beer in Colorado.
The original.
My mountains are still blue, and this is 20 minutes open. Guys, this is a flavor lock and cool lock can here.
Well, I'm sure you're very hydrated. I have a glass of water here as well.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's a good way to end the night.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody at the Zurich Classic this week. Remember, look for our listener league link to join, play golf DFS with us. We, of course, will be back in a week to recap the Zurich Classic and get on with the Mexico Open. See ya.